You want to make more money and you want to have more fun while you do it. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to build your business by design to increase your peace and increase your profit. One of the biggest trends that I see right now going on in the online coaching space is that most people are getting super burnt out. They have tried to scale following the traditional model. They get super burnt out. Their margins tank. So they're making less money than they were before, but they're working way harder and they're burning themselves out. They're grinding themselves into the ground and it sucks. And so what I want to share with you in this video is how to make the leap from a stuck, burnt out freelance coach, kind of doing 5 to 30K a month, to an actual business owner who can scale to 50, 80, $100,000 a month and have a lot more fun and peace while you do it. And so I'm going to share with you the 4 steps that you need to do to see results, kind of like what Adrian said here today. Sales apartments on a heater right now. We're signing on clients every single day. When Adrian came to me a couple of years ago, he was literally like, he was stuck at 20K a month for 5 years doing organic. He was relying on content to go viral. And then people would literally just like, he would just attract broke creatures from the depths of the internet that had no money and no buying intent. They just saw a viral reel and then hit follow and had no idea why they were there. And that sucks. It was inconsistent, huge fluctuations. Started running ads. He like doubled or tripled his business. And like, he doubled his business in the first like 8 weeks and then went on to hit 80. And so as you can see right here, like now 40K a month is a horrible, horrible month. And he was eating shit and it was bad, right? 40K is a bad month. Now we're about to have 40K weeks, applying exactly what I'm about to share with you today. So let's get into it. My name's Jeremy. I help online coaches, established coaches, scale with ads and setters and a hell of a lot more. And so one of the feedback that I've gotten recently is that like, dude, you help people with so much more than ads and setters, but you just don't talk about it. And so hopefully in my content, now I'm going to talk about it a little bit more because ads and setters are just one piece of the puzzle, right? Most people think they need more leads and better leads. And so ads and setters helps with that. But we actually do so much more. So anyways, I want to do this because I want to document what's working and what's not working for me and just be super transparent as I'm building my business. I've done over 3.5 million of online coaching the last couple of years and have helped 500 plus coaches sell tens of millions online. So I got a pretty good like pulse on the industry right now. And yeah, want to make a more impact. Rising tide lifts all boats. So the bigger and better I get, the smarter I get, the more value I share, then everyone else can rise up too because there's enough food out there for all of us to eat. And then I want to network, meet more friends that are doing cool shit and attract better quality people on my team. And yeah, cool opportunities come up as a result of that, in-person stuff and fun stuff and whatnot. So anyways, let's get cracking. So peace and profit, how to build your business by design. So to lay the foundations, I'm not even going to talk about beginners, right? They're just kind of in their own thing, in their head over here. But if you're watching this and you're an established coach, you're probably like 5 to 30K a month. And you're probably getting a handful of clients a month, like charging 2 to 4K maybe. Your offer's not scalable. You're stuck doing one-on-ones, right? And I've talked about this diagram before in the main video pinned to my channel, so I won't go too deep into this now. What I want to cover is the 4 steps here to reverse engineer, but I need to lay the foundations right now. So anyways, these guys are like kind of 1-2 person show and it's inconsistent, unstable, and unpredictable. They're spinning their tires and they're stuck. They're just a glorified freelancer that says they have a coaching business. But how do we make the leap from here to here? Well, to become an actual business owner, that's what this says up here, where you're doing 7 figures, you got to be signing 4 to 6 clients a week, charging more, like 5, well, I've got a lot of fitness coaches charging like 3 to 4K that are doing 100K a month plus, scalable delivery. So we got to get you out of the trenches and you got to be ripping with paid traffic because it's actually scalable and start building an audience and platform, systems and operations. And I'll get into all of this here as well, right? But basically shifting from an operator to an owner, building consistency, predictability, lots of profit, happy clients, happy team, happy you. So what do we need to do? First off, we need to clarify your vision to find what great actually looks like. So if we want to set a goal, right, we're here right now. And if you're watching this video, like chances are you're not in love with where you're at right now, right? We'll just say that. And you want to get to this point where things are good and you're happy. Now, what does that look like? Well, why are we unhappy right now? We're probably unhappy because we're spending our time doing shit that we don't like to do, things that drain us of energy, right? Our energy is lacking, or we're doing things that just like don't fill us up. They don't fuel us anymore. Maybe we're stuck in roles that aren't meant for us. We're doing absolutely everything in our business, like wearing all of the hats and spinning a lot of plates. And our revenue and profit is not where we want it to be, right? We know we're destined for way more. We know we can make a much bigger impact and do a lot more cool shit, but we're stuck right now and we don't know how to get there. So again, we want to be able to take all of this and put it over here, right? And have control of our time, control of our energy, and control of like what tasks and roles that we play in our business. So like the difference between like the glorified freelancers and business owners, like you gotta understand that like to a certain point, like to get from beginner to here, it's like you have to do everything, right? You have to do marketing, sales, lead gen, outreach, appointment setting, sales calls, coaching, building your program, like finance and admin stuff, right? Managing your calendar, right? You have to do all that kind of stuff. But what got you here is not going to get you here. And so it's important to understand that like you're going to have to change things up. And that's where leverage comes in, the big L, right? The big L, which leads to big dubs. And so what does that mean in English? Well, how do we know where to add leverage to our business? We have to first define what we actually want, right? So what I want you to do is like get out a journal right now, a piece of paper, some notes, and write down, how do I want, in the perfect world, if I had my dream business model right now, where do I want to spend my time? What do I love doing, right? Time and energy go hand in hand. So for example, for me, I love making content. I love journaling. I love, like, there's nothing more that I love doing than going to a coffee shop in the morning for like 3 hours and just whipping out my journal and just writing and like creating cool shit, having like really cool ideas and turning that into like a piece of content or lessons to coach my clients on. I love that. I get to be really creative and I get to be like, I get to apply what I'm learning because I read a lot of books, I'm reading like 1 to 2 books a week right now. And I love to just like kind of take that and bring it back down to earth and put it in action, right? So I love that. I don't love spending time on Zoom calls all day, especially if I think they're kind of like not that like productive. And so this is exactly what I did. I was like, okay, I want to go from like, well, let me just clean this up a little bit. I wanted to go from spending 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours on Zoom calls all day to spending time at the coffee shop, right? And doing deep work, because deep work is what moves the needle forward. And so how did I go from this to this? Well, first of all, like I got clear on what this looked like. I was like, I want to spend only max 2 days a week on calls, Mondays and Thursdays. So that's all I do. And so it's amazing. So that means Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days a week, I have 0 calls. And it's the best thing ever because I can operate in my zone of genius, do what fills me up with energy instead of what drains me of energy. Now, the Zoom calls that I do take, those fill me up with energy, right? But if I was on them over and over and over, like then it starts to drain me. And like, trust me, I've done like 10 hours of Zoom calls 6 days a week before. I did that for a couple of years and like that was necessary, but it was only necessary to a certain point. And so you got to get clear on like, what does great look like for you? What's the perfect business model? What's the perfect like daily and weekly routine? And then roles, like, what do you want to do? I don't like editing content. I don't like posting content. I don't like writing captions for all the content. I don't love appointment setting. I don't like being on sales calls anymore. I loved it. I sold $1 million as a closer. I've taken thousands of sales calls personally myself, but it got to the point where I'm just tired of dealing with people's objections. And I was like, dude, like I can fucking help you. Just get out of your way. And once I identified that, I was like, oh, Jeremy, you're sabotaging your business. You need to get out of there. And so that's what I did. Hired a closer, and Matthias is awesome. And so I was like, cool. And then also like doing like tons and tons of one-on-one coaching, right? It's like, I love doing that with a handful of people. And obviously like at the scale, it's like costs a little bit more. I still do a one-on-one onboarding call with every single one of my Summit Scale clients right now. Because I'm not on sales calls. And so on Mondays and Thursdays outside of my group calls, I can actually spend time with clients, every single one of them, doing a one-on-one call. And so I still love that. I love meeting every single person I want to work with, right? And every single person that trusts me to help them grow. It's like, I want to be there to provide that personal touch and give them like FaceTime, you know? And I don't want to remove myself that much right now. Obviously that's going to change pretty soon as I want to scale, but right now I still really, really enjoy that. It brings me a lot of fulfillment. And so I've optimized my calendar to account for that. And then revenue and profit. This is a big one, right? Because revenue does not equal profit. Revenue is for vanity. Profit is for sanity. I have seen way too many people spend all of their money to try and hit record months. And when I say seen too many people, I mean, I looked in the mirror and I used to do this. I would make like, remember I was on a call with my accountant last year and it was like, we had like $200,000 come in that month. And then I spent like 170 or like 160. I was like, where the fuck did it go? And it was not a good time. And it sucked, right? Because you see your Stripe account going up and your Stripe account's like bumping, but your bank account's flatlining. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? So yeah, don't listen to people who are just like pumping revenue and stuff like that, because like, it's not what it looks like on the surface. I can promise you that. So one thing that I want you to know is like, it doesn't have to be like that though. You can design your business in a way that optimizes for profit. And so you don't have to build it in the way where most people traditionally do, where it's like very, very expensive to run, because it's like, okay, I don't have a business that has enterprise value because it's relied on my personal brand, and it's a marketing coaching business, and marketing stuff changes every month basically. And so no investor is going to want to buy my company. So it's not sellable, which means I should optimize for profit and cash flow, and then dump my profit and cash flow into something that does have enterprise value, like investments, portfolio, or other opportunities that come up, right? And so if I'm making a ton of money and not making much profit from it, like what the hell am I doing? I'm just spinning my tires in a hamster wheel. And so if you're in that spot, like book a call down below, let me help you. But it's like, that's not a good place to be in. And I know that because I was there in a lot of pain. And so that's why I want to help you build with peace and profit in mind. So anyways, that's step number one. Clarify your vision and define what great actually looks like. Define what you want. Just sit down with a journal, go somewhere quiet. I love coffee shops, and just open it up, pen to paper, start writing. Just give yourself like an hour or two. Like, what is my perfect business model? What's my perfect dream business? What does that look like? And how do I spend my time? What's the perfect day? How do I want to spend my days, right? I love going to the gym. I love working out. I love spending time outside. I love journaling in coffee shops, doing deep work there. And I love helping people. And like, my coaching calls are some of my funnest things ever. And I love in-person events. And so we're doing a hell of a lot more. I got one coming up in like a week or two now in my hometown here. And so I don't know, by the time you're watching this video, it might be sold out or too late. But if you do want to come, I open up to non-clients as well for the first time ever. We're going to have like 45, 50 people there. It's going to be nuts. And so anyways, I love that stuff. I love meeting people in person. So that's number one. Step number two, clarify your values. What do you stand for and what do you stand against? I'm going to stop saying I see because I've experienced every single one of these things myself. And that's how I can make this video. When I first started, like I wasn't really clear on what I stood for. And if you don't stand for something, then you'll fall for anything. And so I would take on clients that that had a pulse and a credit card, right? And as a result, I was like, oh, I got the dopamine hit because like they pay me money and I'd have a huge spike. And then like a week into like delivery and working with them, I'm like, oh shit, this actually sucks. I don't actually like these people and we just don't align with our values. And so that's not good. Also, that's on the back end. On the front end in your marketing, right? It's like, what do you stand for and what do you stand against? So this is how you create a blue ocean for yourself. So if this is you over here, right? This is all your competition. They don't know what they stand for. They're just over here dicking around and touching each other's hands and stuff, right? And so we want to position you as somebody who's over here, and we want to create a gap between you and all of these other numbnuts, right? And so by actually standing for something, standing against something, you'll create that gap in the prospect's minds, in your audience's minds, right? They see you as this person over here who is in this beautiful blue ocean, and then they're like, wow, this guy's sick. He's awesome. He's dope, right? I align with him on a core value level. And then all these other guys in this this bloody red ocean, they can fight for your scraps, right? And so that's what we want. We want to create a blue ocean for you. And the way to do that is by clarifying your values. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? And talking about this in your content. For example, like I stand for leverage, adding leverage to your business, building for peace and profit, not just scaling for the hell of it, right? I am not willing, I've said this from day one, I'm not willing to scale while sacrificing client results. I am not willing to do that because I know long-term it damages your reputation. And so like you can check out my Instagram account and see my win highlights every single day. I'll pull it up for you right now, right? And like you can scroll through my client results highlights and like there's so many of them, your thumb's gonna get sore swiping through them all, right? And like they don't just have like a couple in there. It's like they have tons. And so like tons and tons, you can just keep tapping and swiping, right? And so I say that because it's a result of what I stand for. And so sure, I could be making a hell of a lot more money, but like I want to be making money for a long time, not just for a very short amount of time. I also stand for like peace and profit. I don't stand for scaling for the hell of it and just trying to scale revenue without scaling profit because I fell for that, right? I was ignorant to that before. I made that mistake. I learned those very difficult lessons. And I've talked to like 12 other 100K a month plus business owners recently who all were feeling the exact same pain. And we're like, oh yeah, that kind of sucks, right? And so we just try to, like, when you get stuck trying to keep up with everyone else, you get put into a competitive mindset. When you focus on your values and your mission, your vision, and what's in alignment for you, that's where you get put into a creative mindset, which is very, very different. And when you're creative, that's when you're over here in your blue ocean. But when you're competitive, you're put over here with all the other guys, right? And we don't want to be in that boat with them. We don't like those guys. Those are the enemies, right? And so this is how you would do that. I also don't love, like, I stand for, like, one of the fucking things that piss me off the most is like marketers and coaches that tell you they'll help you scale your business with organic marketing. Oh my, like, think about that for a second. How can you scale with organic? You're relying on posting content, trying to go viral. You can't control who's coming into your world because you're just going to get creatures from the depths of the internet and they're all broke. Maybe they were entertained by a video because you're dancing on the camera like a monkey to try to get views, right? That doesn't mean they're going to pay you thousands of dollars to buy your high ticket thing. Or like sending cold DMs. It's like, okay, you can send 100 DMs a day, but like you can't just send 10,000 DMs a day. But with ads, you can literally turn your budget up and you can crank it from $10 a day to 100 a day, just like that. And it's pretty linear. And then you start building your brand, just getting way more eyeballs on you. Now you can make your content that's in alignment with you and what you want to talk about and who you are and your values, rather than content to try and just like go viral and then attract people that suck. And so those are just a few examples. I know I'm getting kind of heated, and that's how you know you nailed this. So once you're clear on that, now you want to align your positioning with the above, right? And so let's talk about this for a bit. A few things you need to make very, very damn good content. This is how you start getting way more people coming to you. This is how your paid ads become way more profitable. And this is how you make lots of profit and have amazing clients, amazing people working with you, is when you align your vision up here and your values with your positioning in the market, your messaging. So what you say in your content and how you say it. So chances are, if you're an online coach, you are building a personal brand, which means you need to be a charismatic leader. What does this mean in English? Well, it means that we have to position you very clearly as a charismatic leader, right? Somebody that like a leader worth following, somebody that people actually want to be around. Because a lot of the time with coaching, it's like people pay for proximity. They join your program because they like you and they resonate with you more than they resonate with the other guys, right? And the reason that, like, how that happens is through your values. And so hopefully I'm explaining this properly. But anyways, so it's the who. Who are you, right? Why do you exist? And where did you come from, right? So people need to know that. Otherwise, they're not going to know you, like you, and trust you. And the way to get people to buy from you is to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. And so really what I want to drill home here, it's like, don't be afraid to tell your story, right? We look at this. If we go back down to Adrian, it's like figuring out exactly who I want to serve and shifting my content to storytelling is blowing up my sales right now, right? We changed nothing with his ads. It's just the way he changed his middle of funnel and the content that he's creating and who he's talking to, right? So figuring out exactly who I want to serve, which means got clear on what this looks like, who he wanted to work with, and what he stands for and what he stands against, right? Who he wants to work with, who he doesn't want to work with, and then aligning his content and his positioning with exactly that, right? Why do you exist? Like, why do you do what you do? People need to know that. They need something to rally behind. And then where, right? Where'd you come from? What's your story? How'd you get into doing this? When you understand somebody's backstory, it makes them so much more relatable. It's like, look at Alex Ramosi. It's like, oh, well, we know he had a consulting job and then he quit that to move across the country to California to start to sleep on the floor at a gym. And then like from there started like other gyms and then gym launch and then scaled that and then sold it and then acquisition. Like we understand his backstory. We know where he came from. And that's super important. Vision and values, and that should be pretty clear. Vision, values, right? But you got to talk about this now, right? It's one thing to get clear on that, right? So it's like, what do you stand for and where are you going from here? And so that's how you create a movement around you. This is movement marketing 101. And last year I paid $10K for a day of coaching with one of my mentors at his like super private event. It was like there were 20 people there, all of them. The requirement to be in the room is doing at least 100K a month. And he's doing 9 figures, Dan Martell. And this is one of the things that he taught, movement marketing. And so Russell Brunson talks about this too. Alex Ramosi, right? Really, really powerful stuff. And enemies, right? Who do you hate? Who do you stand against? What methods, what tactics do you not agree with? And so this is right here. This is who do you stand against? This is your enemies. By throwing rocks at them, you're creating the gap between you and everybody else, right? We want to throw rocks. This is supposed to be rock, and that's wind going this way, right? And we're trying to hit these guys with our rocks. Be like, yeah, those guys suck. Yeah, screw organic marketers. Yeah, like, and then guess what? When you do this right, then your clients are like, yeah, screw those guys. It's like, I've hired business coaches before who said they were going to help me scale with organic, but it sucked. I didn't make any money. I was grinding my ass off and got super burnt out and almost wanted to quit. And they're like, yeah, I like this guy because he also hates the same people. And there's a great quote. It says like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so if there's Mr. Prospect down here, right, and he also hates these guys, then like all of a sudden him and we're tight. It's supposed to be a heart, right? Now we're homies because we both hate the same people. And so that's super important. So dial those in. And then step 4, build systems intentionally to make that happen, right? So I promised I was going to talk about some of these systems. Here we go. So if we look at the funnel, we need, well, let me just draw out a funnel for you. So we got top, middle, bottom, and it's supposed to be a B, and then boom, the big foundation. The bottom of the funnel is the delivery, right? And so this is eyeballs, this is fire, and then this is dollars, and then this is, I don't know, results, right? And so the top of the funnel, this is how do we get eyeballs? How do people get to know about you and see you for the first time, right? So you need to build a system for lead gen. And the best way to do that is through like paid ads because they're scalable and predictable. And the best part too with ads is you can control the quality of the people that you're attracting. So for example, on Monday, I had a coaching call with my community. One of my clients was saying, hey, Jeremy, I'm getting like really, really cheap leads and getting a ton of them, like 70, 80 leads a day. However, a lot of them are not very qualified. They're kind of broke and not exactly who I'm looking for. I'm like, all right, pull up your ad. Let's see what you got. And they weren't qualifying. Like the ad wasn't qualifying that hard for like financial qualification. We weren't targeting people that had a lot of money. And so I was like, here's why, right? Now, the thing is my client thought that they were doing that, but it wasn't as clear as it could have been. And so I was like, all right, let's fix that. And so we tweaked the script, they launched it, and now things are crushing. So just like that, we can manipulate the quality of the people that we're talking to, which means you're going to be booking more calls because they resonate with your message more and they align with you. And you're going to make more sales because they actually have the money to join. Now, Once we have those people, right, we need to warm them up. And so this is how we nurture them. So build VSLs, long form content on YouTube, retargeting ads. This is massive. And when you build a really good system for that middle of funnel, it's deadly, right? The only purpose of your ads is to get the right people coming to you, right? So the right people that have a painful problem that you solve and the money to fix it. As long as those people are coming to you, the ads are doing their job. Now it's on the middle of the funnel. This is where most people get wrong. Most people do not nurture properly. They try to go straight from the top to the bottom. I've made another video on this too recently. So I won't get into it too much, but you need to dial in your middle of the funnel. And so once you do that, then we have to build a system to convert them, right? If you're like me, you probably don't want to be in your Instagram DMs all day. And I mean, close out Instagram tab, don't even want to look at it, right? But we don't need to if we have a setter. And so the setter is in your DMs booking calls for you. And then you can have a closer or sell by chat, closing the DMs, and then you're laughing, right? Now, when you have all three of these systems dialed in, what that means in English is you don't have to worry about getting people to know about you because you've systemized it. Now the right people are coming to you that have money. They're getting warmed up automatically, so you don't even have to think about that. And they're getting booked in and closed for you without you having to do anything. All you got to do is just make the right content, build the right demonstration, sales assets, and then make some really good ads. And then bang, bang, boom, you're good to go. And then now all you do is coach and get them results. And then you can even streamline this, right? So build a good delivery system. Asynchronous coaching is awesome when you build a course. That's what this means is like, it's not one-on-one. It's like scalable and leveraged. And so you build a course, you build a community, use AI and hire a client success manager and some coaches. Like right now in my program, we have 5 group calls a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I host Mondays, and then Tuesdays and Fridays are both hosted by some of my buddies, Austin, who's a sales coach, and Matthias, who's my sales rep. So we have 2 sales training calls every single week to turn our clients into absolute weapons. Wednesday's appointment setting from my old appointment setter who started his own offer in his first month did like 42K, and he was a weapon. He booked like 5 calls for me like his first day when I hired him last year, which was sweet. And then systems to track where your clients are at. And I've made a whole video, like a deep dive, it's like 50 minutes going into our whole client success system and delivery process. So you can check that out. You can go dig a little bit and find it. It's probably like within the last 2 months, probably 1 to 2 months. So you can go back in the channel and dig if you want. It's a banger. Like that one fucks. Excuse my French, but sorry. Anyways, then results become streamlined and autopilot, and then you're a happy camper, right? And that is how you build your business for peace and profit, because when you build systems, now you can remove yourself from all of the things that you don't love doing anymore, and you make that transition from an unhappy camper to a happy camper, right? This is how you build a business that you love again. This is how you build a business. Like right now, I only take calls twice a week. And so that means every other day I can do pretty much whatever the hell I want. And it's a lot of fun, and I make great money, like the margins are way higher than they used to be, and it's way more peaceful and fun. And so hopefully this can help you do the same. If you want my help to build all these systems and apply this in your business, like I said, we do a hell of a lot more than just ads and setters. We literally help our clients with every single component of this. Literally everything I laid out here is what we help our clients with. And so if you want to scale up and you're serious about it, then booking a call down below or just shoot me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Jeremy_Pogue. And with that said, hope you have an awesome day. Go make a ton of money and help a lot of people and change a lot of lives. And hopefully we'll work together soon. So anyways, see you in the next one. Bye.